Good morning, this is vacation video number 9 and will be our last video for the vacation. Tomorrow we get to go back and have Shir in school live. I can't wait. I know you're definitely just as excited as I am. And today we're going to be doing Parak Beis Halacha Vav through Zayin. And the halacha states as follows. Molichin es hakatem melamed lo maled acher shu mahir imenu ben mikra ben dikduk. So the question becomes now, where is the best place to send your child to school? And the answer is that you can take your child from teacher to teacher, or from one teacher to a different, if the second teacher is better, if he's more understanding, if he's quicker, if he's just simply a better learner, he knows more Torah. You can take him from teacher to teacher. Okay, right? So that's if they're both in the same city. So if you have two different schools that are open, or two different teachers, and you want to know where to send your child to, and you sit down with the two teachers, one from one school, one from the other, and even if your child's already enrolled in one school, and you sit there and say, you know what, this other school's a little better, I'm going to send them to this other school, that's perfectly acceptable. There's no problem, as long as they're in the same city. But let's say you find out the next town over has this really great teacher, right? So the halacha is as follows. He says, "Aval mi'ir le'ir, or mitzad hanar letzado, afilu ba'osayir." Right? So if we're talking about two different cities, okay, if the two teachers are in two different cities, or if even in the same city, but one's on one side of the river and one's on the other side of a river, ein molichin es hakatan elim kein haya binyan bari al gabe hanahar binyan she'eno roy lipol mehera. So then the only way you take them, okay, from one side of the river to the other in the same. Okay, let's stop. Let me take a step back. Sorry. If it's in the same city, if it's in a different city, okay, you have a better teacher in a different city, so you don't take him to the better teacher. If it's in a different city, you keep him within the same city. Okay, but if it's in a different city, right, then you don't take him. Okay, different city, you don't take them. Same city, you can switch them from teacher to teacher if the second teacher is better. But if it's in a different city, you don't take them. And if it's the other side of the river, even within the same city, right? Because if it's the other side, if it's another city, then for sure you don't take them. But if it's in the same city, but on the other side of the river, the only way you're allowed to take them to the other teacher on the other side of the river is if there's a bridge that's really strong and has absolutely zero possibility of collapsing. Okay. That's the first halacha. So again, just to review, the only way you're allowed to take him to another teacher, to a better teacher, is if that second teacher is in the same city. If it's in a different city, you can't. And if it's in the same city, but if it's across from a river, then you're still not allowed to. Okay. Then the Rambam goes on and it says as follows: Echad b'nei mavoi shebikesh la'asos malamed. Okay, so now let's say you have a teacher, he's set up, he's a good teacher in the city, but you have somebody else that says, you know what, I can also teach, I want to teach. Okay, he's in the same neighborhood, same town, he wants to open up another school. Okay, afilu echad mibnei hachatzer, ein yolichin cholim shchenav limchos biado. No one's allowed to stop him. You can't get up and say, well, I already have a school here. This is my property. I have the monopoly in this area. There's no such thing. Where competition is good when it comes to different schools, that's perfectly acceptable. Okay, not only that, but even if he opens up literally a competing school with a sign that says right next door, he literally buys a building right next door and says, I'm also teaching. Come, send your students to me. Right? But you could say, hold on a second, come on, that's not right. I've already established here, right? And by the way, in case you're wondering, is there such a concept when it comes to a business or a restaurant? We do have this idea that you can't open up the same restaurant right next, the same type of restaurant, or the same type of business, competing business right next to somebody else. It's called hasagas gvul. It's encroaching upon their business. You're not allowed to do it. But when it comes to teachers, it seems like, and schools, there's no problem. Why? Hashem chafetz matziko yagdil Torah v'yadir. Because it says that Hashem desires for the Torah to be expanded. And when it comes to competition, we know that competition makes the other side better. Right? I know if I have a restaurant and there's no other restaurants in town, I can serve whatever I want. I'm the only show in town. No one's competing with me. It's not like you can get better anywhere else, so you're going to definitely come to me. Right? But when it comes to schools, right? we say that the more competition you have, the better. It'll force every teacher to pick up their game and to really step up and make sure that they're doing well. Okay. Now, my question for you that I'd love to hear your answers on is the first halacha that we did. Why is it that you don't take your child to a better teacher in another city? What's the idea there? Okay, extra points if it's not a practical answer. I think this might be a practical answer, but if you go conceptual here, I'd love to hear that. Okay, can't wait to hear your answers. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.